Good afternoon. Welcome to God, Freedom, and Bitcoin. I'm Janet Gatewood here with my husband, Todd Gatewood.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's get this thing started.
It's been a minute since we've been on the air. We're live here today, but we've had spring break and it's the spring in real estate. So I've been a little busy, and Todd's been wanting to let's do a podcast. But I need to talk quickly about the spring break because has anyone ever out there had a sunroof that got stuck open? Have you, Todd?
Yeah, I had one. I had a 1996 Saturn SL2 for any of you guys out there who remember that car company and stuff. It's a General Motors product, and I had one. And after about year two, I opened up that sunroof, and it broke. And it stayed open, and I had to take it back to the dealership and everything. And they said, for $1,200, we can replace that motor. I said, I tell you what, how about for $1.99, you just shut the thing for me? Because I was like, I'm not paying $1,200 for a motor. And that's anything, anything motor on a vehicle like that, any kind of seats or anything like that, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So I said, do me a favor, just seal it. And we did. And I held on to it for another 3 years until it blew up on me. And, but no problems with leaks or anything.
Okay.
Long story short. Short story long.
Well, what I was good. Yeah. So I've had sunroofs for years. And so, yeah, you've heard your Saturn story because, yeah, yours got stuck open. And so you hate them. Well, I love them. But I don't use it a whole lot. But when I was younger, I did. So I took my girls down to the beach for a few days. We're 7 hours from the coast. First day, the girls were like, hey, Mom, let's open the sunroof. Open the sunroof. And when we pulled up to this shop, it wouldn't close. We tried everything. And of course, we also tried just push. It would not close. And of course, the dealer down there had no appointments. They wouldn't see us. So I didn't want to end. We had 3 days at the beach. So I had my handy painter's tape because I'm a realtor. So here we are in these nice areas, and we're up on the car with this painter's tape, and all the valets kind of looked at us. I think they had sympathy, and this manager came out with plastic bags to help us cover up the roof because it was sunny for a few days, but we were going to be driving back in storms. And so anyway, we enjoyed our trip. On the way home, trying to tape it up, like it lasted 10 minutes, came off. So we went up to this Ace Hardware, and we're out there for an hour. We taped and taped and taped. 20 minutes that was up. So we drove 7 hours with the sunroof open, dodging, like trying to beat the rain. But yeah, it was so loud. I don't know if you've ever ridden it with it like that, but my daughter, you can do like an app that does decibels. It was 92 decibels. 7 hours coming home, dodging the rain. So that was a crazy way to end the trip.
All that hard work for 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, good grief. I said, next time, in each of your vehicles, we're just going to start putting tarps in there and some twine so she can just wrap it around.
Because that looks nice, right?
Whatever you have to do to survive the moment.
Yeah. It was awful. We came home, more massive storms were coming. So you and I raced across 45 minutes. So I'd driven all day, parked it at the dealer, left, came back, dealt with that. And thank goodness it was before we had this week of horrific storms. And that's one of the things we want to talk about is it has been, we slept last night, right? But the night before, we didn't get any sleep.
Oh, yeah. After about 9 hours of constant, the warnings you get on your phone and stuff like that. And I'm sitting back here like, man, it's a long night. I actually slept for a few hours. So I go to bed like at the, almost like sundown at this point. And Janet, she's a night owl anyway. And of course, with all those storms rolling in, she was going to stay up, and she did.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I stay up late. Todd goes to sleep, and I was watching them. And then I really had fallen asleep for like 5 minutes on the sofa. And those storms. And I jumped up, I ran in and got you. You jumped up. The dog jumps up. And so we raced. Thank goodness we have a basement. And that's another thing we want to talk about. But so we raced down there, and it was hours of this. And it was the line. So everyone has probably seen this. It's, when you're talking storms from Dallas to Michigan and Ohio, you're going through Arkansas, Memphis, St. Louis, like all of our clubs, Sarasota was fine in Massachusetts, but our new Dallas club, which by the way, just take a moment. We're so excited. So it's I think it's 8920 Coit Road. Let me look this up. It's in Plano,
Texas.
Bear with me here. The settings app isn't going to get the address for me.
Yeah, you guys go down there and see our buddies.
Okay.
Michael and JJ.
Yeah, Michael and JJ. 8920 Coit Road in Plano. Guys, 6 to 9 tonight. And Bitcoin Ben, I believe, just arrived. In fact, we're here live, but he's going to be live at 4:00. So don't go away like when we're done, or if you have to take a minute, come back and let's hear. It's been feel good to hear from Ben and see him in the Dallas Club. That facility is so nice. And they had some weather and rain as well down there. But their official opening is June 14th. But they're going to have meetups and apps. So we'll keep you posted here. We'll get some information. You can message us here at the club, info@Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, Nashville.com, and we can keep you updated on things. But back to the weather. So we had these massive lines of storms. We're up all night. And I mean, really just decimated certain areas. Was it Selma? Where was it?
No, Selma, Tennessee. It's just outside of Jackson, which that's, it's rural West Tennessee. It's a little bit south of where I'm from, which is Martin. But that Jackson area always gets pummeled with tornadoes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
It's awful. And so we're on the phone. We're on the phone, family, kids, everybody's in their safe space. There was a family in Selma that they were in the middle of their house. They were in their closet because it's the most interior room. That tornado hit and it was like the whole thing went up. And the picture I saw, they all lived. But the picture I saw, there's this black tarp, it's basically a slab foundation. And there's just a plastic bag, which is where the closet had been. And then the car was flipped upside down inside where the house had been. It picked all four of this family up, these two little boys. They stayed together. They lived. The wife had 3 broken vertebrae. They all had lacerations, so they're alive. And I keep seeing these stories on Facebook and GoFundMe's and different ways to help these families. And y'all reach out, get on your social apps, see how we can help. All of these families are going to need help. They've lost everything. There was a family that lost to a house fire because lightning struck here. But it has been a dramatic tornado season.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing about it, guys, if you could throw them $5-10, even just something's better than nothing. It all adds up and it helps. And, like she said, we saw a story online where a gentleman that was 97 years old lived in his house for I guess for 65 plus years and everything, and totally lost everything. And he was just devastated. He's got family, but his wife passed away, I think 3 years previous and stuff. So the gentleman was really emotional, which is understandable when you lose your home that you've lived in for 65 plus years. So yeah, if anything you can do to help people, just always make sure that it's legit and just throw a few bucks to them.
Yeah. Check with your local churches. I'm sure Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, different places like that. And then we can also put some information after this. It's coming in so fast as things are coming about. But so I've lived in Nashville my whole life. I remember one tornado in high school that hit Brentwood, which we're here in Brentwood. One tornado in high school. So this has been a change in the last, I just graduated 10 years ago. So no.
You look so young. You're you're totally young.
But seriously, yeah. So it has been a change in the last 20 years. And it's almost like we've got this new tornado ALLE, but it doesn't seem real. Like we saw them spraying the skies. I don't know, but they sprayed the skies for days before this hit. And we're not done. There are more coming in tonight. But the thing that people don't realize, it's the flooding after. We had torrential rains. And the next morning, a lot of things shut down because our neighborhood part of the street looks like it's about to cave in. A lot of roads were blocked. So they closed schools here in Williamson County, and churches, schools closed. A lot of places closed for the day because of the driving. You were trying to get to ribbon cutting, and I think you had to take a different route.
I did. And the thing about it, the Harpeth River, here in the area winds throughout the whole area. And then there's all sorts of little creeks and stuff that many people don't know they're there until they, have major flooding events like this. And it's really causes a lot of backlog and backups. And then, sometimes the interstate, there's wrecks and everything. And then people have to get off on side roads like, Highway 100, Highway 70, all that. And the next thing you know, you've got the mother of all traffic jams throughout the whole city because people are having to detour around these washed out areas and everything. So, yeah, it's just pretty interesting when you see all this stuff. And it's just crazy what kind of problems it causes, especially in a very high, dense area such as Nashville.
Yeah. So if you see water, it's really smart not to cross it. A lot of people think I can do it. I can do it. It doesn't take, I think it's just a few inches of water that can lift and move a car.
Yes.
So really tell everyone, don't cross it. And they're trying to get kind of an education campaign out. A child was washed away. I just saw on the news midday, headed to the bus stop. Like, oh my goodness. I don't even know the details on that story, but you're talking, these waters have power. They go into culverts. I mean, the culverts, we've seen them stopped with debris, which has caused some of the flooding. So if you're in the Nashville area, like Sperry's, the Sperry's Market in Belmead completely flooded. I saw pictures of Boost, which is Highway 100 West near Belmead, which is a workout facility, water just running through it. And in the middle of the night when they were hitting Lipscomb University, the boys' dorm, water was flooding through, and those boys were screaming. I didn't know they could have such high-pitched screams. So it was that was crazy. But there's water running through the floor of the dorms in the middle of the night.
It's probably the first time it's been cleaned out. So a good little flushing probably would help those guys, because I'm pretty sure they're not cleaning like they should. So they're guys.
It's a nice campus. Yeah, we love Lipscomb, but yeah. It's so funny. So we've had a lot going on and it's not done. So like I have a buyer flying into town to look at property for like 3 days. And she's like, is the airport going to close? Will the flights be? I'm like, I can't answer that. We don't usually see the airport close. They will ground planes. They will delay planes, but I'm hoping we can get out and look. But you have to be careful. I mean, the water, when the ground holds so much groundwater, there are so many other issues that happen later. So just once the storms are gone, that's not the end of it. So there's just a lot of people in the area with need. There's a lot going on, homes that have flooded. And so, we're happy to help. If somebody needs some help and they hear us on here and they don't know who to call us. We'll help you figure out what we can do, whether your family has lost their home, you need clothing, whatever it is, reach out to us here at the club and we'll mobilize some help. But I'm so grateful. We're okay. As far as we know, everyone we know in the area is okay, that we know personally, in their homes and their businesses. But there is more coming this weekend. So everyone stay tuned. Keep your eye on it. And honestly, as annoying as these phones can be sometimes, and especially like right when I fall asleep and that, but it wakes you up, which is great, because I would wake up startled and let's go run to the basement, right?
Well, it wakes you up. It doesn't wake me up. I mean, honestly, we could have a tornado coming right through the house and I would never know it. I would sleep through it. I mean, I'm just a heavy sleeper. And Janet's like, you didn't hear that? I was like, oh, that's like, sweetheart, there's no way I heard that whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm the one. I'm going to have to defend from the people that come in the night, right?
Yeah.
Sleep like freight train.
Exactly. No, I do. I really do. But I wake up at like the crack of dawn. Well, actually before then, every day. So this is like my sleepy time. So which is really funny. I'm an old man now.
Doing a podcast during your nap time. So what you're doing?
I feel like I'm pretty impressive considering I'm doing this at my nap time. I might take a nap while I'm doing this podcast and see how impressive that one is.
No. I'll wake you up.
If you start hearing me snoring, wake me up.
As we sit here, I literally just got a warning for a tornado watch until 10 tonight where we live.
At least it's a watch, not a warning.
We're watching all of that. And in the meantime, there's the news stories that are cycling. While we're very focused on the weather here and everyone's safety, the tariffs kicked into place this week, I believe on the 2nd. And so when we were at the car dealer fixing the sunroof, they'd sold 18 cars the day before, 22 cars in 48 hours. Everyone was afraid the tariffs were going to make the prices go up.
Yeah, that's the funny part about it. And of course, they said all of our cars are made here in America too, so it doesn't really matter. But that, being good used, our good dealers and stuff, they're going to take full advantage of panic buying and stuff like that. So it's just funny when people get panicked, and I'm like, if you can hold off, it's going to be a hugely beneficial thing. It's actually benefits this country. The short term, no, but I mean, you're getting cheap stuff from China. They don't have our best interest in mind, and they only have their interest in mind. You're talking about a communist country. So the best way to beat them is, and they're actually hitting us with big tariffs themselves, which is not really noticed or said in the news as well. So the best thing we can do is to educate people on what tariffs really are, and you're not getting the full story on all that. It does benefit our country eventually. Is there going to be a little bit of short-term pain? Absolutely. But long-term, you're going to see an economic boom unlike anything you've ever seen.
I'm so glad you said that, because people aren't seeing the big picture. And I really love, haven't had time, I'd really love to have like a list of these tariffs because these countries have charged us so much. I think China has like a 25% tariff on our soybeans, but we don't charge them anything. Like it's not even. And I was talking to a family member this morning and they were so mad about the Trump tariffs. I'm like, well, why aren't you mad about the tariffs the other countries charge us? I mean, it's not been an even Steven swap. The other thing are the workers. How many of our workers and companies have been put out of business because it's so cheap from overseas when it's not an even playing field? So I just saw a story right before I came on. The union workers are praising the tariffs. Now I saw the comments, people were fussing, well, prices will go up. But the whole point is make it in our country, employ our people, build our businesses, build our networks, use our resources, help. Because when they need resources for whatever they're building, guess what? They're calling our countrymen, our citizens, their fields, their supplies, their minerals, their steel, whatever. We need to support our own country, not every other country. We need to build our country back.
Well, unfortunately, we've all become very selfish and spoiled, excuse me, by cheap goods and stuff. And yeah, it's nice to save a buck, but let's instead of looking at corporations or in businesses that are having to raise prices because of the quote unquote tariffs, let's look at our government. Let's look at what they're wasting, what they're spending. And that's your problem. Prices would be fine if we had a fiscally responsible government, which we do not. They never have been. They're a bunch of takers. They worry about their own self-interest, their family self-interest. We got generational welfare, corporate welfare, and it's called the U.S. government. It's called Congress. It's called, every politician you're looking at, it's all corporate welfare, and you're paying the price because of that. So it's not the businesses. It's not President Trump trying to get back what rightfully is deserved by our country. I mean, he is putting tariffs on these countries because they are sticking it to us left and right. And it's time to wake up to the fact that you're being played by, higher ups in business. You're being played by your government officials who aren't doing their job and just enriching themselves at your expense and your hard work. So, guys, it's time to wake up. It's time to educate yourself on business and economics, basic economics.
Yeah. Exactly. Here's what I'm excited about is that we have non-censored news now, just us being here live on the air. X is not censored. And because my family member I was speaking with, all they watch is mainstream news. And mainstream news we know is like 95% negative toward President Trump. And I told them, like, they don't present both sides. And so you get this population that has this mindset because they never stop to research is what they're being told, what they're listening to accurate. Everyone needs to do their own research, whatever it is. And old-fashioned journalism, present the sides, present the truth. But what sells is all of the excitement. All the negative stuff seems to sell more than the good feeling, good-hearted stories. So we have the chat open right now. And hey, Pam and Adam, sees a couple of our friends on here.
Hey, guys.
From Colorado and South Carolina. And, anyone listening, feel free to put something in the chat. If the tariffs are affecting you positively, negatively, anything, it's because right now, I believe all the markets down a little bit, like all the stock markets. Let's see.
The funny part about it, guys, just so you know, tariffs don't affect Bitcoin. So anybody that's not into Bitcoin listening to us right now, I got a sure bet for you, even though it's not financial advice. Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay. They're all down. Everything's down right now.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin's going up.
Yep.
And when you look at the percentages, and I'm sorry, I don't have them in front of us, but I saw a report yesterday. When you look at the percentages of things that are dropping, Apple stock, all the different stocks. NVIDIA, compared to the percentage down of Bitcoin's still winning. Bitcoin is still winning. Bitcoin always wins, and Bitcoin is always going to win. It's in the code. And that's why we're here. We want to teach people. We want to educate them and look at how much Bitcoin you have. If you don't, there's so many ways to get it. We talk about the fold card a lot, and that link is in the below the video. But stacking that, because you think, where's your wealth going? It goes in the bank. Your money's losing value every year, 15% plus, if not more, the buying power 30% plus every year, but you put it in an appreciating asset. And that's the hardest thing is which appreciating asset. You've got gold and silver, but Bitcoin has outperformed everything. And it's just getting people getting their mind around it, helping them understand it. We're here to, if you have any questions. But I mean, it's an exciting time to have something like that going on in our world.
Well, it really is. And it's the thing that gives people some hope as well, is the fact that it's a new technology. And I had a lady that came in this morning, she had a question about, a Trezor. And we got to talking, and she was like, people just don't understand. I've told my friends about Bitcoin and everything. She was an older lady, but she's been in it, she said, for like 5 or 6 years. And, she was just amazed at our club here and what we're doing, try to educate people. And there's a lot going on. I said, it's like the next internet boom. I said, early 90s, internet was like everybody thought, well, it's just a phase. It's a fad. No, it's really not, because this is like next level internet, except you're dealing with a financial system and a new financial system. And, it's really impressive where we're going to be heading with this in the future.
Yeah. I'm so glad you stumbled upon this. So Todd, you heard Bitcoin Ben in summer of 21. We had heard about Bitcoin and we had heard the negative stories, right?
Yes.
So we were afraid of it. What do we buy? XRP, XLM, and Doge.
Which all has
funny.
They all have great marketing teams. And that's what I always tell people is like, I've had this conversation too. They're like, well, what do you think about XRP? And I'm like, I don't, because I said it's all marketing, and it's the worst thing. It's all centralized too. You don't, if you want to change the system, you want to decentralize it. You don't want to centralize it around one entity. Worst thing you could do, because you're going to be right back in the same boat you were in before, and it's a sinking ship actually.
Well, and they're missing is it 35,000 levels of their blockchain? They're missing part of what happened.
What are they hiding?
What are they hiding? So when we realized what Bitcoin was, we sold it at a loss. I think like $3,000 loss when we bought Bitcoin, and had never looked back. And so, I mean, to Bitcoin Ben Simchi, it's amazing. Like, there's such a community around him. He has been here for the little guy. And we know the big guys know about it. They're buying it left and right, and they're keeping it quiet. They've been trying, but the truth's out now, and people are starting to look into it. So we have walk-ins pretty often. That are dabbling in it, have some questions. We've got a lot of people joining the clubs. We've got our clubs in Sarasota, in Leominster, outside of Boston. We're here south of Nashville, Dallas. I'm going to say it again. Tonight they have a meetup.
Guys.
We're so excited. 8920 Coit Road in Plano, Texas. Go tonight. Ben is there now. Bitcoin Ben. He's going to do a live show at 4, and then they're going to do a meetup. I think 6 to 9. Go meet Michael and JJ. These guys
Jim Flanagan.
Jim Flanagan's there. We got Baby Ben there. We got Bitcoin Ben there. I mean, Michael and JJ, I cannot say enough about them. Outstanding. And if you are in the area or family members and you're wondering about Bitcoin, go meet these guys. Go get some help. Join the club. We're here to support. Plus, it's fun to talk about. We had a class last week, or Tuesday, I think. And it was an Ask Me Anything class. Some of our classes are that way. And we just talked about the top 20 coins. Where do you get to do that with people?
Well, you get to do that to the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. And Janet leads these classes expertly, I must say. She does a great job. And Sherpa helped us with that, who's down in our Sarasota office. So, I mean, it was really fun, and we enjoyed it. And we actually have club members that come in on a weekly basis just to hear the classes and everything. And of course, any club member can get those classes via Zoom sent to you. So if you're unable to make the live classes, which are 12:30 to 1:30 Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can always get the recordings of those. And we have roughly 60 classes, I think, give or take now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of content there, and it's nice to have people. We have people from all over the world join in these classes. It's different ones, or that they will listen to them later as well. But yeah, talking about the top 20 altcoins, because we talk about Bitcoin a lot, but there's so many use cases for so many other coins. There are thousands of altcoins. So trying to get your head around that it's a lot.
Well, and you can only talk about Bitcoin for so long. There's so many podcasts on Bitcoin and ad nauseum, and so it's kind of fun to discuss other things and stuff, and realize. And I love Bitcoin like the next guy. I really do. But it does get old, seeing the same old, and same interviews and stuff like that. So we try to keep it interesting here at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club.
Yeah. And, and there's a certain amount of we have to repeat when we have new people come in. So we try to do beginner level and intermediate. And we're in the process of developing more online classes, more just like
education,
8-hour classes, like education. So, but right now it's kind of fluid and fun and interesting. And we'll talk about a wallet. We'll talk about safety. We'll talk about cybersecurity. Next week, I don't know. Tuesdays we don't know what that one's going to be yet, but Thursday we're going to be talking about Calyx Solutions. We're going to have a guest, Patrick, come and teach us about that, about the best way to secure your coin. So the clubs offer a lot of that, and it's so interesting. So trying to watch what's going on with tariffs, with Bitcoin price. What's the Bitcoin price right now? It's 83.9. So we've been watching it bounce around, but a year ago at this time, it was around 65,000. So, I mean, it's up 25%, 20% over last year. I mean, it on average, it's what, 60% a year?
Yeah.
It goes up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's not bad. And that's the thing, even through, bull and bear markets, you just have to hold the line, and it's going to increase in value as the years progress.
Yeah. So here's what I love. One of the things I love about Bitcoin is it's peer-to-peer, and it's anytime, because there's nothing more frustrating. We all know I'm in real estate. We talk about that a lot. You can't get paid until that wire goes out, and you have to do the wire during banking hours. And that doesn't include Saturday. So, I mean, when you're peer-to-peer, you can get paid immediately. You can take care of that immediately. And it cuts the middleman out. It cuts the bankers out, which is why they haven't liked us as much. But gosh, it's so much easier. And you can do that around the world to settle up. We've never had a currency like this. It's amazing.
Well, you had an instance where you were trying to get paid a couple of weeks back, and I think you put it in on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and it didn't get back to you till like the following Tuesday or Wednesday. That's a lot. And there's some realtors who are struggling out there who need that money immediately and everything. So you're telling them that, hey, we don't care if you don't get this in by like Monday morning, you're not getting paid till the following week. That's ridiculous. And that's terrible service too. And so that's kind of why the banking system needs to be readjusted and go to a blockchain, or, so it makes it easier for transactions. Too many middlemen, too many costs. And that's the thing. That's the problem with the banking system right now. They fee you to death. And it's like, I always say it's like getting a new car. You go and you get options, and that's sort of like the bank. You get no option except you're going to pay our fee or else.
Yeah. Bitcoin Ben one time asked me, he's like, if you could imagine if you could do anything in real estate, what would it be? And right now, sitting here, I'm thinking I would get paid immediately.
Yeah.
Like, we have to wait till the end of the transaction. So the house closes, right? You said a closing date. Well, the wires everything has to go through wires from the lender, or if they're buying cash, then it has to go to the title companies, and they have to wire it to each other. And then they have to wire it to, or send a check. They were overnighting checks until like a couple months ago, to your real estate company. And then they have to process it and then send that to the bank. So this one, I had them wire everything quickly, so there are no checks. It still took like 5 or 6 business days to get paid. And it's hard when you haven't had a closing in a while, because it was slow through the winter, to wait for that. But yeah, hey, Ben, if there were things I want, it would be where in real estate, you can get paid immediately, but you think about that with any job. Like when we have a handyman we pay him that day, but it's still a check. Has to go to the bank, has to process overnight, has to clear. And then once it clears, then you got to go. It's cumbersome. And we are moving. It's a new day. Things are faster. Technology is better. And it's time for this. It's time for Bitcoin is now.
Well, it is. And I guess my questions to all these banks and stuff, if technology is great as it is, and it is, why can't you use that technology to make your customer service better? Well, that's because you don't want to do customer service. That's not what you're into. If the average everyday guy doesn't have enough zeros behind his name, he's not going to get that service. Now, if that was some millionaire, billionaire, it'd be instantaneous. That transaction would probably happen, and I guarantee you it does. But the average, and that's what we're here for the clubs, is to support the average everyday person and give them a voice in a voiceless world that we live in. Yeah.
So that rate of speed, it's coming. I think here's the thing. We're fussing about this. It's still early. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? 4 or 5% of all the world owns Bitcoin? Is that right? Like, it's the smallest percentage. You have 21 million Bitcoin. How many people in the world? 8.2 billion, if that number is correct.
Get you some sats.
I mean, people need to get sats. You need to stack it, save it, just sit on it, hold it for 4 years, 3 years, whatever. Don't sell it. We right now, so you're seeing, if it's on here right now, let me see if I can get it on here right now. We have a number here at the club, and it is 941-413-6920. And I'm going to put this up on the screen right now. This number is for loans. So this is the coolest thing. Join one of our clubs. Join Nashville.
We prefer Nashville, but if you can't, join any club.
We love them all. We love all our clubs. But join one of the clubs, and then you can apply for a loan. They have these non-asset based loans, and these are third-party vendors, and get that loan, and you can buy non-KYC Bitcoin. And what is that? KYC is know your customer. You can buy Bitcoin without your name attached to it, because we do purchases weekly for our club members. And there's more detail to the program. But if you are interested in either just outright buying some Bitcoin or getting a loan to buy some, because we really want everyone to have a chance at it. And there are tools in this program to delay payments, to do things so that it's not a tough it's not a tough program to do. It's easy to implement and easy to get ahead for your family, because we're talking generational wealth. So that number is 941-413-6920. And it's been exciting. It's already been very well received.
Well, it really has. And it's giving people who before didn't have an opportunity to purchase Bitcoin or know how to purchase it, an opportunity to put their foot into it before it gets to the point where it's not affordable anymore. And it's going to it will get there eventually, because you're talking about hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars eventually that we're heading into. And the more people, everyday average American citizen or world citizen, that we can adopt into this and help them, get a freedom-based money for once, and not have to adhere to a system which is stacked against them. And that's really what we're about here at the clubs, is to give them that opportunity. And that's what Ben's main mission is to help that average everyday citizen really attain freedom.
Okay, here's another way to get Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Join the club and sign up your friends. So we have we pay our club members, if they sign someone up, we pay them, and we do it 3 levels down. These are affiliate codes. Yeah. And so we have a gentleman that's got a line of several, and he's about to hear from me, and he's going to be paid in Bitcoin for signing up people to the club so that they can also learn. So if you have family members, friends, community, neighbors, your church, Todd and I, we'd be happy to come to your church and do a presentation on Bitcoin. We want to help. We want to help our churches. We want to help the people. We want to help the community. And we see this. You keep hearing strategic reserve. Bitcoin is a strategic reserve. There's a reason. When you look at the code and you look at what it's done, you look at its performance, this is something, in our opinion, we're not financial advisors, that we feel like would be advantageous to everyone. So think about that. If you're listening and you want us, we could even do a Zoom call. We talked to a group of maybe 20, it was priests for a Catholic organization to educate them. We've done some podcasts for stay-at-home groups, other groups to help educate them. So Todd and I are here as a resource, not just to have a podcast and run the club, but we really do want to be out there in the community. And Todd, you are out there all the time in the Chamber of Commerce. And I think that people are coming up to you more often now. It's been a couple of years that you've been planting that seed. How's that experience been? It's been great. I mean, people are really open to it and stuff. They're still, it's still not the amount of traffic I'd like to get, but I will say this, people are, you have to plant the seed. And we're playing long game here. This is not something that's going to be instantaneous. And Ben knows that as well. We understand that the more we put ourselves out in the community, the more we get involved with our local communities, and we're actually good stewards of that, and we help. I do a lot of volunteer stuff, which I love. I like to meet new people. There's always an interesting story. You get to find out where people are from, their families, different things like that, and it's just an enjoyable experience for me. And it allows me to spread the world of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Ben crypto clubs. And when I tell them what we're into and what we're doing, everything from all the clubs to the resorts to, the loans and everything else, it's all inspiring for them to see something like this going on. And it's totally brand new. And you can see the wheels turning in their head, trying to figure out what in the world is this.
But I've really got a lot of great relationships within our community, and it's starting to bloom and build into something bigger. And I figure over this next year, we're going to see the results of all that hard work, that proof of work that Bitcoin is.
Yeah. And I think I'm hearing this, and I think you are. We keep having people say, I need to come by and talk to you about that Bitcoin. I need to sit down and talk. I'm like, yes, you do. We're here.
Matter of fact, sign up for a membership too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really neat. So we had a gentleman join, and then he brought a friend, because we're happy if somebody wanted to sit in on a class. If they're not a member, we'll let them sit in on a class so they can see what it's about. And so we had a gentleman do that, and he's brought in 2 or 3, and it's exciting because you see people that have worked so hard and they've got this financial hope. And I think that's the thing is the whole financial industry has been so discouraging with inflation, with taxes, with everything being hit, and people are struggling. But to see like there may be a way, this hope. And so it's really exciting. And just the whole peer-to-peer, I have to go back to that, because right now with the storms, if there was a Bitcoin wallet, it'd be really easy to tell the Bitcoin community, hey, you can send some Bitcoin and help this person. We're still, but when you're trying to build a new system, you have to have kind of one foot of the door of the old system and one in the new. And so we still have to do this dance.
We're dancing
between the two worlds. And if you're new to this, you're listening, get some books, read some books. There's the Bitcoin Standard, the Fiat Standard, and Creature from Jekyll Island. We talk about these a lot. Learn about our monetary system. People cannot do enough research, because you can't just believe everything you're fed. You've got to do your research. I mean, you look at newspapers in other countries. Oh, by the way,
here we go. What's up?
I just saw that France wants to limit social media in certain circumstances. They're going to do it without a vote. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. You talk about the little guy who wants to be Napoleon but doesn't have the cojones to be one.
I guess.
Yeah, that dude, Macron. Yeah, it's just like totalitarian.
I think that's it.
Unbelievable.
Seeing so much control. We're about freedom. Like, okay, we're God, freedom, and Bitcoin, right? We love freedom in our country. That's what makes Americans different. Like, we love that. We fought for that. Our ancestors fought for it, and here we are. But there's been this our freedoms have been slowly, we've been giving them away. We've been letting the politicians, letting the media, letting all of that remove our freedoms through a lot of fear-based propaganda. And we're really positive. We really are excited about things. But you've got to do your research, and you need to get involved in your communities and be a voice to make a difference. We have to go, that's not right. Because I guarantee you, when you feel that's not right and you're listening to something, there's so many people that agree with you, but they're afraid to speak up.
Yeah, and that's really sad, because, your First Amendment guarantees those rights. And, we've let these people tell us that we don't have the right to do anything. And that's farthest from the truth. They don't have the right to tell us anything, because there's quote unquote elected officials, but they're really not. They're put in there, and our voting system's a wreck, and has been for a long time. So these people that are telling us this stuff don't even have the right to tell us anything. They're serving us, and they're vastly overpaid as far as that goes too. It needs to be made where they're not paid much at all, where they'll go back to the private sector.
Yeah, I think we've seen so many changes in 3 months.
Yeah.
And one of those, okay, I like to do this on our shows a lot. I'm looking at the U.S. debt clock. Doge has saved $279 billion.
Billion with a B.
That's $2,500 per taxpayer. So, and we see, I also heard that a lot of the unemployment numbers are from the government downsizing this government. It's been too big.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So it's just, we don't want to see good people lose their jobs. We don't want to see their families hurt, but I think they're giving them like 8 months severance. So there's time to start a new business. Honestly, there's time to go get a new job, to figure some things out. So I appreciate that they're doing that, because you don't want to hurt your people while you're trying to change this whole horrible system that's been in place.
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, corporate welfare. Welfare is always considered to be just for the poor people. No, it's really not, because I tell you what, there's a lot of wealthy welfare going out there as well. And a lot of it dwells within your own government, and all these taxes and things that are being forced upon you. And they're threatening to levy everything on you to pay for their miscreants is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a new day and a new time. I think it's so interesting. And like when I've been so busy with real estate and in the clubs, like I need to stay on top of the news. It's changing all the time. But it is very exciting to see what's coming down the pike. It's exciting to see our country put first. It's exciting to see business, like a businessman in the White House. And there's so much negativity about Trump. There's so much positivity. It's just, who's speaking louder, right? But this is a businessman. So you and I, okay.
Yeah.
We started watching, what show did we start watching last week?
Oh, we started watching The Apprentice.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. You can learn a lot about a man by watching that show. And I'm talking about the president we have currently. And, I laugh at the people. I'm like, if you read his book, and I haven't read the book yet, but just for the 6 hours of shows that we've watched, we've been binge watching this stuff. You learn a lot about how he conducts business, and he gives advice on some of the things he does and everything else. And I'm like, he's a straightforward guy, and everything has a purpose. And that's the funny part about it. It's like the other side, they just don't see it, and they think he's unhinged and stuff like that. I was like, no, he's brilliant. It's called business 101. And he does everything the right way, and everything has a purpose, and it has a way to drive the initiative and his main purpose, and to get people to do what he's looking for them to do. And I have yet to not see it work for him.
Yeah. One of the things I really liked is President Trump in The Apprentice. And then we know it's TV, right? So there's always some TV, but he seemed to really, loyalty was very important to him, making good decisions. Like if people made a bad decision, so like he would let whoever led the team choose 2 or 3 people to come to the boardroom because somebody's getting fired. That's the whole thing with The Apprentice. Every time they would only bring 2, you could tell he was like, nope, because they left one option on the table that gave them a stronger chance of staying in the game. And so every time he'd say, you want to do 2 or 3, that was also a test question. So there's it was very interesting watching it and watching, the things that he valued and who might run his company. And I love that because you really feel good about who he's letting go and who he's choosing. Like you're seeing some really good decision making in that process. Because I think apply that to DC, apply that to his staff. He doesn't put up with dishonesty. He doesn't put up with disloyalty. He doesn't put up. There's, and not even being unkind. Like there's a direct and there's a business decision. It takes a leader has to make tough decisions sometimes. But they don't have to be unkind in how they do it. And most of the time, what he delivered was not unkind. It was direct, and there was a reason, and it was earned. But I really love kind of watching this businessman kind of behind the scenes.
Well, he likes quick decisions too. A lot of times when they're up there, and I understand, look, good grief, you're sitting in front, and this is before he's president stuff, but to sit in front of one of the most powerful businessmen in the world who's been very successful at everything he's touched. And I know he's had some bankruptcies, but most business people do. But when he asks for an answer, he doesn't want you to stammer around. He wants to know why this person, because he's basically putting it on their shoulders. Why does this person need to go? And if you're not ready, that means you're not going to be ready to run his company. So you need to be precise, ready to go. Shoot, this is why I want to do this. This is why this person needs to go. They failed at X, Y, Z. And that it's really interesting to watch how he operates, and he kind of asks the right questions to the person to see if they're up to the task of getting something done. It's amazing. I mean, it's a master class on how to run business and how to actually learn to interact with people as well.
Yeah, I love that. And, even one time Bitcoin Ben was telling us, you don't follow a person that's not successful.
No, you don't.
I mean, you need to follow someone that has more money than you, that's more successful, that's been there. And there's so much you learn. He even brought in heads of companies to interview the last 4 people. Robert
Kraft from the Patriots was one of them, actually, which was really interesting. You talk about a guy who's an owner of a Super Bowl, team, NFL team.
Yeah. It was fascinating. They were drilling them with these intense questions. I was thinking, how would I answer that? How would I answer that? But it was unbelievable. But they'd all been there. They'd learned. So, I mean, if you're a business owner and you have staff and employees, I mean, golly, do as much as you can in learning what successful leaders do and how they motivate teams, how they run teams. mistakes that they made, so to learn from them. There's so much out there to help us improve. So while we're here teaching Bitcoin and cryptocurrency education, we're for the whole person, whether it's health. We talk about the carnivore diet sometimes, financial health, physical health, mental health, and in even health in an organization. Because we have a big one. Like Ben's growing this so quickly, adding clubs, adding resorts, adding
the CEO, Jay Bose.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's how we're growing. We're actually starting to put the right people in place to make this a huge success for the future.
Yeah. It takes that. So looking for strengths in leaders, strengths in people, what they can bring to the table to help the organization, but also character. And I think that's one of the things that I see is character is so important in The Apprentice and what they were doing, in what we're doing in our country. And it's exciting. It's hopeful, because I think what we find is most people are really good people. You just have a few that can make things difficult, or the media will just point out things, but they won't show all the good stories. There's so many good stories, right? But again, the chat's open. We're going to wrap this up here shortly because it's 3:30. Ben is coming on at 4 today. And live from Texas, from the Dallas Club.
All right,
Yay.
for our friends in Texas, congrats.
This used to be this big, I think it was a bank facility, a bank.
No,
what was it?
It was actually a Caldwell Banker real estate training office, which you should know about that because you know a thing or two about real estate, right?
Maybe.
Oh, it's nice. Nice facility. I cannot wait to get down there to see that place and stuff. So it's going to be really interesting. We might catch it twice because we're actually driving out to Vegas for the Bitcoin conference.
Yeah. And by the way, Bitcoin 2025. We love Bitcoin Magazine. That is going to be the last week of May in Las Vegas. And our Las Vegas Club should open the week before. Yes. Working on that. And then the Texas Club. So June 14th, if you want to go be there for the opening of the Texas Club, Ben always gives away Bitcoin. I bet he will. What do you think?
I guarantee you I'd be shocked if he didn't. Someone's going to be a happy person when they leave that place that day.
He may, now that I've said Ben always gives away Bitcoin. Maybe he has to now.
He's probably saying, shucks, I wasn't wanting to give away my Bitcoin. But, hey.
He just, and when we've given away, a lot of times it's people that have none. Like we've had to help them download a wallet, learn what to do with it. And that's why we're here. What is it? How do you buy it? How do you store it? How do you keep it safe? And understanding it, which is really great. So we've got that coming up. And then once we get past the Bitcoin 2025 conference, there's going to be, in these openings, we're going to have more activities here throughout the summer and fall here at the Nashville Club. But it's really just an exciting time. And even Bitcoin, with watching it move, every day we're like, well, where is it now? And it's a great time to buy, right?
Oh,
it's 83.5 stack and hodl. Like, just when you get paid, buy $10 worth, buy $25 worth, get the fold card and buy it on the fold card. It is the easiest place to buy. You can buy up to $500 a day. You can move it to your Bitcoin wallet, or you can move money from your Bitcoin wallet to the fold card and spend it. Not that we want you to spend your Bitcoin, but there are ways to use it and live with it. Yeah.
And on that fold card as well, guys, what you can do is as you spend, you can earn sats. So I always look at it this way, and this is kind of the thing that most people can't comprehend. And I wonder sometimes how I even comprehend it. You could actually earn more than you spend eventually with the price of Bitcoin going up. So let's say you continue to spend like you are. Eventually, all those purchases, you're going to have more value in Bitcoin and you're going to be able to outpace what you spent.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
So if you're shopping online, so I was looking at a lady's website last week after I got paid, needed some clothes, and it was Stitch Fix, because they kind of help you pick out stuff, because I don't really have a lot of time to shop. And I thought, ooh, are they on the fold card? 6% back in Bitcoin. 6%. Yeah. That would have been left on the table. I can pay our mortgage. We can pay our mortgage and earn Bitcoin on it. We can pay our car insurance and earn Bitcoin on it. Like, you're already doing all these things. Set it up so you can earn Bitcoin and just start storing generational wealth. I mean, I get so excited about that, because it's like leaving money on the table if you don't do it.
Well, it really is. And that's the thing. Once you get into this space, you start to see it for what it is. You're like, why would I not use this ability to store wealth? It makes no sense not to. And you really have to, it gets to a point where you're just like, you've got to look at this and realize, like, if I don't start doing this and doing it on a consistent basis and learning, I'm leaving money on the table. And we've come to the point in our life where if we're going to have an opportunity to retire, we're going to have to stop leaving money on the table. And that includes all of us.
All of us. So I've just put in the bottom of the ticker here where you can sign up for the Fold card. And you sign up through this link, and they use affiliate links. So what's nice is if you share it with someone and they scan your code, then you'll earn Bitcoin when they use their card. So I think last week I earned like $100 in Bitcoin just doing the normal stuff I would have done through a bank account. So that's, I mean, and people do points on cards and things, but to be able to actually pay your bills and mortgage, that's amazing. So there are a lot of things going on right now that are really exciting in the space. And the Fold card's going to have a credit card soon. I like that it's preloaded debit, but they are going to have a credit card soon as well. So here at the clubs, I'm going to find Todd. What is your favorite thing about the Fold card?
My favorite thing about the Fold card is the ease of use. I mean, as far as the ACH and things like that, or you could set it up. You could set it up through your checking account. It's just, which is the ACH, but you can also set it up with a credit card, this, that, and the other. You can purchase the Bitcoin. And I mean, there's really a lot of good reasons to like it because it's just ease of use. It really is a simple process. And just stop in the club. We can show you how to sign up. We've got a QR code, and we'll be glad to get you stacking sats.
Yeah. So there's that. And I've put back on the ticker now. We're going to talk one more time about these amazing Bitcoin crypto loans and non-KYC Bitcoin purchases. Join our club. Go ahead and sign up for this. This is a great way to buy Bitcoin. If you don't have a nest egg, but you want to go ahead and get ahead of it, because we know it's going to go up. We do. And so I really appreciate Bitcoin Ben and Jay Bose and the team, Nathan, several of them putting this together to help our club members get more Bitcoin, because you can buy it right now. I mean, I think there's going to be a time not far away where it's going to be very hard to find it. And that's where the altcoins will really step up, because as it becomes more and more scarce, people, it's going to be harder and harder to get them to let it go.
Well, and that's another thing. That's a good reason to join the club as well, guys, because as Bitcoin goes to unfathomable numbers, there are going to be other coins, but there's also going to be more opportunity for fraud and just people getting taken. So for us, starting these clubs is also about the education of protecting yourself, like with the Calyx Solutions laptop, and making sure that you don't get taken and your generational wealth is stolen from you. So you have a place to come and talk to somebody, and we can help onboard you into the safety net that is Bitcoin.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. So we're going to wrap it up here today because it's an exciting day. We've got Ben coming on in about 20 minutes live on the air. And then we have the meetup in Dallas, Texas. And that is, again, 8920 Coit Road in Plano, Texas, 6 to 9 tonight. Go by, say hi, take pictures, put them on social media. We love those guys down there. We're so excited about Texas. And then St. Louis will be coming on, and Palm Springs and Las Vegas. So there's a lot going on. Yeah. But thank you for being here today. We're really going to continue to pray for our area, for the people that were hit with the storms, but also the storms that are coming. And just keep watching what's going on the political front. It changes every 5 minutes. Like, it is so hard to keep up with everything.
Oh, it is. It's totally insane. And, we're just fortunate that, they were talking about that we had actually tennis ball size hail in the town that we're in. We're fortunate we were spaced out enough, but it's just like, I can't fathom that, because I'm thinking if that goes through a roof, hits somebody in the head, your cars, I mean, there's so much damage that could occur from that, because that's coming from a pretty high, a big height.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that hits you in the head, you're probably dead. Oh. Not to be dramatic, but it's not fun, or you're going to have a big knot on your head for sure.
Yeah. I saw an ad for a company today that they can actually pop out the divots from the hail. We haven't had to go through that yet. And but I think also some of them say the heat, as things, it'll kind of resolve itself a little bit. So that's an interesting thing if people had their cars hit with hail. But yeah, we heard about baseball, golf ball, every kind of size of hail that you can imagine. So check your roofs. We also have great contacts for roofers. But so for all the different things we discussed today, feel free to reach out to us. Our email is info@BitcoinBenCryptoClubNashville.com. Our number, and you can reach all the clubs with this number as a phone tree, is 562-526-0813. Our website is BitcoinBenCryptoClubNashville.com. Eventually, we'll have all the websites consolidated, but right now we're separated with the cities. And our office and our location in Nashville is at 1619 Galleria Boulevard in Brentwood, Tennessee. Like and subscribe and share if you like the podcast. And thank y'all for joining us today. I see a lot of comments in the chats from people that we just love and know. So thank y'all for being here, and hope all of you are doing well. Your families are safe. And here it is, Friday, right? So
Friday is here. Hopefully everybody's going to be safe out there. There's a lot of weather coming through. I feel like we've been just hit over the past 5-6 days, but everybody stay safe. Lots of prayers for those people out there who have really been hit hard in Selmer and even in Middle Tennessee area, and Arkansas. I know Arkansas has been hit real bad as well. So prayers to all those people out there who have lost their possessions or been harmed in some way from all this, whether the flooding or through the tornadoes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We will, and if we have some information where we could have people donate, we might look at putting something together. So thank you for joining us. Tune in 15 minutes for a Bitcoin Ben from Texas. And everyone have a great weekend.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.